What's up, everybody? It's Sean here again from Knowledge Daddies. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's podcast. We have the amazing Jess Grippo talking about all about our entire dance journey, and more importantly, we talk about our upcoming episode, How to Dance with the Knowledge Daddies. Guys, this episode is really, really funny. Please check it out. It debuts this Thursday, March 4th? March 11th. Check out March 11th. That's on me. I'm late at night recording this, but it's still fun. If you haven't guys already, please subscribe. Please recommend the channel to your friends. Help us grow. Help us become an awesome community full of funny people who like learning and doing creative new stuff. Other than that, guys, please enjoy this week's episode.
They have neither the time, the training, nor the inclination for strategic thought.
Let's play
Knowledge Daddies.
Either way, everybody, welcome to the Knowledge Daddies podcast. My name's Sean Barry, and joined as always by my two co-hosts,
Oscar Desiderio.
and
Suck my penis.
and say your name so people understand what we're doing instead of the way you do the podcast where you just start it and it makes no sense.
Welcome to the podcast. My name's Andrew Steiner. This is Sean Barry, and this is Oscar Desiderio.
You can't just say our names. People don't know who's saying anything.
Oppositional defiance disorder.
Yeah, your ODD is... we have to do a whole episode on it. It drives me nuts.
Listen, everybody, the first episode of the show is already at 3,000 views. So if you haven't seen it already, please check it out and give it a share. If you have, that would mean the most to us. And yeah, we really appreciate that. But today we have a great guest. We have the star expert of episode 2, the wonderful Jess Grippo, and we're about to let her into the room. Sean, you got anything else to say?
No, that's it. Thank you for introducing our guests. We're going to have a lovely conversation about dancing.
Hey, Jess.
Hey.
I can't hear you, but you missed all the squabbling. You missed all our squabbling.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Bummer. I'm all right. It's freezing. It got so cold again.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And then they took it away. And who is they? The CIA with their weather control apparatus.
No one's
I was just basking in that awkward silence.
Oh, man.
So, Sean, lead the way.
Well, a much nicer day we spent was with Jess on our second episode that's coming out next week. Jess, you watched our first episode. What'd you think? Is it kind of what you thought our episode would turn out to be?
I thought it was amazing. I'm really excited to see all of them. And that event itself was so fun. I had a lot of fun, just like, even though it was Zoom, I don't know, how do you guys feel about the Zoom thing these days? Like, I mean, it's nothing compared to being in person with people, but there was a certain energy there. Like, it was nice to...
It was fun. It was well curated. It was made better by the fact that you were there and Chef Tom was there. And like, yeah, it was really cool to see people that we kind of knew. Jay, who did sound on one episode, was in the audience. So it was nice to see some familiar faces I hadn't seen in a while. And it's okay. I mean, I've been doing Zoom open mics. Have you done any Zoom comedy mics?
I've done a few, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, they're okay, but it's just like I miss the real thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. You don't get the same feedback. Like one of them that I did, it was like a longer feature, and after I could read the chat and I was like, oh, people were like into it and it was cool. But I was like doing the thing and just felt like, okay, I have no idea. Like, it's just, there's no feedback really.
Yeah. I mean, I think on one hand, it's kind of nice to like not have the nerves, the same adrenaline dump that I sometimes get performing in person, because I can like be more relaxed and just like in the moment and try to feel my feelings while I'm performing. But on the other hand, I feel like I'm training at a handicap, you know, like I'm training with less resistance than I need for the actual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, this is
Sean?
one of the problems with Zoom is that sometimes the timing's off.
Yeah.
I know, it's like, whose turn is it?
Yep.
I was gonna say, Sean, have you done any Zoom mics?
Yeah, I did them a lot earlier in the pandemic, and I just hated them so much because I feed off live energy in crowds, and at least all the ones I did, there was no one there except other miserable people doing them. But at least during our knowledge days event, people were like excited to be. That made it much better. Plus, I got pretty drunk for it, and that helped too.
Jess, so we wanted to interview you about your like creative history and how you got started in dancing and all that stuff. So I guess let's start at the beginning. Like what are your earliest memories dancing?
So my early memories, I was like 4 or 5 years old, like many young girls get started in dance, jazz, tap, ballet combo. And and I quit like a couple of weeks before the show. I freaked out. Like I can still, I don't know if you guys like there's very few things that I remember from when I was really little, but I vividly remember being in like, it was like the studio, but everyone was doing costume fittings, and I just started screaming, crying, because all of a sudden it was all this commotion and people were like throwing rulers at me or whatever, and I freaked out, and I quit dance, and then I got back into it like a bunch of years later, probably when I was like 8 or 9, and then I stuck with it and kind of went into my teen years getting pretty serious about ballet. But I was a quitter from the beginning.
Me too. I quit baseball because I would like when it was time to do outfield, to do defense, I would just go into the woods and play by myself. And then when it was time for me to hit, I would go back and get ready to hit. And that's it.
A lot of pressure on kids, like organized sports, dance things. It's like, at first it's all fun and it's like, yeah, I'm cool. Everybody thinks I'm cool. And then you go into these things and it's like, wait, what? People are watching and there's all this pressure. And
yeah. So what made you continue all the way to like ballet and as a teenager?
I don't even know. There was something in me was like, I want to go back to dance school. And so my parents sent me and I went, and I think it was like, I was a really shy kid, really shy. And there was something about dance where like I could just go and do a good job and not have to talk to anybody. And I think there was something really comforting about that. So I was good. I mean, at my studio in New Jersey, I was pretty good. So
Yeah.
it's like, so it was just the natural progression of like, oh, cool. Yeah, you're good. Keep doing this. Do more of it. And so yeah, so it satisfied that like not having to talk to a lot of people, which wasn't very good socially because I had a little bit of a hard time just making friends, and especially when I started going to New York City. So like around when I was 13, I auditioned for like a summer program at the Joffrey Ballet School in the city. And I got in, and so I started going there, and then I went to their year-round program. So I was like commuting from New Jersey after school, like
Wow.
high school.
Is that the same Joffrey who was the butler on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
It is not. That's Jeffrey.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Joffrey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that
But
the
that was really cool.
Is Joffrey from Game of Who's Joffrey? I feel like
Yeah,
there's
Joffrey's the main bad guy in Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
King Joffrey.
Yeah, I don't watch that show, so I don't really know much about it.
Okay.
There you
It's
go.
prob-
That's kind of funny.
An evil king and a ballet master.
Oh yeah, so imagine that the Joffrey Ballet School is like this evil, like I came from this like, hi, we're in New Jersey and whatever, and then it's like you go to the Joffrey and it's like this evil school, and all these like really good young ballerina girls are like stretching their leg up here and like staring at you, and you're like, oh, I don't know. And they ended up being fine, and I eventually made friends, but I was definitely like the isolated shy one for a long time.
Oh wow.
But I stuck with it, and then I quit again. I quit twice. I quit when I was like 19. I kind of really gave it a go, was in the like pre-professional track. And then I decided, you know what? It's time to go to like real college, and I wanted to help people. I like ended up studying psychology because I didn't know what else to do with my life, but now it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of had like similar oscillations between like, oh, is this a selfish pursuit doing a creative life? And then also just being like, I'm not this person. And I also don't want to like do two things half-assed, you know?
Yeah.
Like I went back for like occupational therapy for a minute,
Oh,
and then
cool.
I came to that realization that's like I'm just doing this because it's secure and like I have an idealized notion of what it means to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. And very similar. I can see that, it was like I thought that in order to help people, you can only do it this one way, which is in a profession that helps people directly. And now I realize that, like, oh, we need comedians, we need dancers, we need
Hmm.
people like of all kinds in the arts, especially. I think we serve a purpose, and right, there's
Absolutely.
some helping there that happens.
For
And
sure.
You definitely provide a service. I mean, everyone needs to laugh. Everyone needs to
yeah.
feel, emotional expression through dance every now and then, I think.
It's a weird thing because it's like there's Maslow's hierarchy, right, of needs, and I think once you reach like a different level of the hierarchy, once you have food and shelter and the basic needs, like those other deeper psychological needs do take on the same emotional weight as food and shelter. Even though it's like you don't technically need that to live, it feels that way at that level. And I think that's where creativity and like art and love and social enjoyment takes a big role.
Yeah, yeah, and Jess, you sort of like after you quit your second time, when you came back into dance, uh, you have had a sort of unique, sort of new approach to things. I'm editing the dance episode, and just the list of all the things that you do, it's really interesting. Because it's like like I was thinking the creative coach aspect, and can you speak to that, like how because that is helping people directly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did keep that thread of helping people directly. And so I'll give you like the short version, because there's kind of like, I'm like, why do I do a million things? But it's getting more and more streamlined, let's call it. So when I got back into dance, well, before I got back into dance, you know how I studied psychology. Eventually, I didn't do anything with psychology. I was working at a 9 to 5 job. I was a food and beverage analyst. I was working for this restaurant chain. I was not happy. And I went to a holistic health coach who helped me with some health issues I was having. Long story short, I became a holistic health coach. I was working for this women's health company, and I was like, oh, I'm finally doing it. I'm helping people. Woohoo. I'm like in my mid 20s. And then and similar to what Andrew was talking about that Maslow's thing of like, okay, my needs are met. I'm making money doing something where I'm helping people, and yet I didn't feel good. I felt like something was missing, and I was kind of in and out of being depressed, and just like knowing that, like that little whisper of like, oh, you're an artist. Like, you need to get back to dance. You need to do something, and I wanted to fight it, but I couldn't. So I started making dance videos alone in my room, very pre-coronavirus. This is like 10 years ago, and before people had to do it alone in their rooms. And it just became like, it was that switch from like dance having to be this like certain calculated technical thing to just expressing however I wanted. And the videos became this little creative expression for me. So, long story short, though I still make those videos. Now it's on TikTok, because yay for TikTok. But it was like through that process, as I was coaching people with their health, all of a sudden, like clients I was working with would be like, I don't know why, but I found like my paints in the back closet, and I think I want to start painting again. And like we would get like, and I just started like gently nudging people back to whatever their creative thing was.
Yeah.
And I found so much like joy in that. And I was like, oh, that's it. Like, yes, the health stuff is important, but like that's not necessarily my thing that I'm meant to teach. So, and then I started leading creativity workshops. Dance was like kind of in it. Dance became more and more a thing as the years went on. But
Right.
that was like how I kind of got into, the creativity coaching stuff.
Right. Creative Club is the workshop you host, right?
Yeah, yeah. Creative Club's like the main coaching program for people who are wanting to revive whatever creative practice they have. A lot of people are maybe even working in a creative field, but they just haven't when like you're working and you're doing creative stuff, but it's all for someone else and you're not
Mm,
actually expressing your own stuff. So a
yeah.
lot of people come to it and that way they're either entrepreneurs working for themselves or working for someone else and really feel that need to like, I got to get back to something in myself. And
I
that's
have
what,
a creative question for you. I wonder if you can answer it.
yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, so I mean, I find Sean, and mostly Sean can speak to this. I have a tendency to want to go like really edgy sometimes. Talk like sex or drugs or just like be edgy. And I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to like. I'm not trying to like make anyone feel bad or anything like that. I just like that's what makes me laugh because it has like a sense of risk and danger to it, and I kind of like I don't know what it gets me going for some reason. Probably because I have oppositional defiance disorder, as these guys will tell you. But I mean, I have a job. I mean, I work as a podcast producer, and I also just don't want to alienate people and like hurt people's feelings or anything like that. Um, but I feel like this is on some level fundamental to what my sense of humor, and I
Mm,
don't know how to find the balance sometimes of like making myself laugh and also making other people laugh.
mm. Well, how has it been going? Like when you get into that kind of stuff, how do people respond?
Some people like it and some people hate it. And I think I've gotten better at like making sure people know I'm joking and being funnier and choosing which topics and how to speak to them and like, just being more nuanced with it for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just like Sean can tell you so many times where he's like, "Shut up, Andrew. Don't say that."
I've had to cut a number of things out of the podcasts and episodes that Andrew's said that they're just a tiny bit off-putting to people, just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well,
I know he's kidding. It's just, yeah, he has this tendency just to go as zany and weird as he can. That's what makes him a special little boy. But
yeah. I mean, and I think it's good to, the things that feel edgy or that you want to pursue, but it's knowing your audience, right? Like you probably wouldn't tell those jokes if you were at a school function or something
Well,
with
definitely.
kids, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I think with adults it's a little more nuanced because it's like, okay, it's adult content. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, I think it's for me that was the first thing that came up. It's like, well, like how are you finding your audiences? And like because it's almost a good thing that half the people hate it and half the people love it. In fact, someone told me this recently who is getting on the road to getting a book published, and their agent told them, listen, if half the people don't hate the title of your book, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like you have to have some people hate it in order for some people to really love it, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise you're kind of like in
Well,
the
some people definitely hate the name Knowledge Daddies. I can tell you that. But some people like it. I've gotten some good feedback too.
great.
It's difficult. It's like to figure out a name.
Oscar's brother said he hated it.
Really? I love it.
Thank you.
well,
Yeah.
like on a smaller level, though, we found out like at the last second we have to bleep out every time we swear, on YouTube. Like, you watch the episode, like it's not particularly, cursy, but we
Yeah.
say fuck every now and then, and like, we also have explicitly created it for adults, but like it's that weird balance of like, oh, it's for everybody, but also you should probably be like at least 16 to
Yeah.
watch stuff, and then like it's just kind of infuriating sometimes.
But we actually didn't curse at all during your episode for whatever
And we
reason.
noticed that.
Yeah.
Lady.
Yeah, probably. We probably were just like we just want to mind our P's and Q's and be respectful. But
Well,
Yeah.
a wholesome episode.
Yeah, but I still think it's probably one of our funniest episodes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
it's
good.
hilarious. I'm finishing it up.
I can't wait to see the full.
What was your impression like when because you hadn't met us at all? Like, first of all, why did you agree to teach us?
Well, uh, well, when Frank messaged me, like honestly, like I had no idea. We had been in touch through some event I think he was at where I performed, and he was like, "Hey, I'm a video guy, cool." I was like, "All right, whatever." And like we stayed in touch kind of loosely, but so he reached out and he explained what the concept was, and he said, you know, you would be like the dance expert, and you would come in and blah blah, right? And I was just like, well, I think I said this at the other event. I was like, just so you know, like I'm not like a mean it's just not in my nature to be mean. It goes against all of my creative coaching, like, you know what I mean, stuff. But like there can be other ways to make it funny. And he was like, it's fine. He's like, I think it'll be great. And I was like, I don't know. It felt, honestly, it was just one of those things where like, oh, this sounds really fun. I'd love to be part of it. And also it's cool, like, I don't know. I want to do more reality TV. Sure. This is, you know, let's
Yeah.
check it out and see.
What you were saying about like wanting to help people find their creative niche or just express themselves with Creative Club, like that really resonates with me because that's a lot of my motivation behind Knowledge Daddies is like, yeah, how do I help people in a way that feels really true to the way I view the world and engage with the world. And I engage with the world by like constantly learning new things and taking risks and being in like high pressure situations that are creative and fun and with new people. And if I can inspire people to take those types of risks and learn a new skill, even though they have no business like jumping in the deep end, that would mean a lot to me, you know? So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool that happened, that vibe, that resonance happened.
Yeah. No, and when you shared that at the kickoff event, it really resonated with me. And I was like, oh, that's, you know, like there's, because I really do resonate with that. And so, yeah, see, there's some kind of connection that brought us here.
But then,
Yeah.
okay, but also,
Spiritual wavelengths.
yeah. But also on the day of, was there any moment where you're like, oh, I regret doing this?
There really wasn't. There really wasn't. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
It was a ton of fun. You guys are awesome, funny, like, and just so willing. Like you really, like, it's just like, and what I love about like just the episode I was part of and the whole show is like you guys being willing to put yourself out there and show what it's like to just do something without knowing. Like that to me, like, not, I mean, it's funny, of course, but I really think there is that deeper meaning there where it's like it frees other people to be like, you know what, maybe I will try that dance class. Who cares if I'm the goofy person in the background? Or, you know, I'm hosting this dance challenge right now. The first day, which is also the first chapter of my book, is called Dance It Wrong. And it's like the first instruction that I give people is like, you're gonna try out a dance from TikTok or like even the electric slide, whatever it is, and just botch it up, do it wrong. Like let's start by giving ourselves permission to just, you know, do that. And you guys, you demonstrate that, you know.
We definitely did it wrong. We did everything wrong for sure.
But it's so wrong that it's right. And it's like, and I think you can see your genuine expression coming through it. And that's what I'm about. It's like, I don't care if your dance technique is fantastic or bad or whatever. It's like, for me, it's more about like, what's the intention behind it, you know? And what's that, like, I think Sean mentioned like emotional expression, right? Like through dance, like that's something that like everyone has the capability of, you know, even if you can't fully move your body because of a disability. Like one of my students teaches face dancing and hand gestures and face and stuff like that. She's doing they're doing a whole workshop. Ailey, I can share those details if anybody wants them, but it's, you know, there's so many ways that we can move and express ourselves.
That's cool. That's really cool. I got the idea a while ago that I never followed through with, of like choreographing eating like to rhythm, like
That would blow up on TikTok, I'm sure.
I gotta
Actually,
do
yeah.
it.
Another friend of mine, he did that where he took a bite of a piece of celery every single day, but was able to auto-tune all the crunches into an awesome song. It's really good. Look up Tom Goulet on TikTok.
Ah,
That guy's a genius.
cool.
Wow.
Before we plug Tom Goulet,
Yeah.
we gotta tell people. Jess, what's your TikTok handle?
Just my name, Jess Grippo.
Jess Grippo.
Grippo.
Has TikTok been like revolutionary for you? Or just like, like this is everyone knows a dance.
With TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the app was like made for me in some way, like, because I'm like an ancient dancer, an ancient TikTok dancer, which a TikTok friend of mine, Gwen Carroll, came up with that concept, and I'm like, let's start a club called the Ancient TikTok Dancer. So, but using her term, because I mean, when I first started making dance videos, it literally was 10 years ago, and YouTube was like the only thing. And so I had this anonymous YouTube channel, and like I just put the videos are still up there. They're horrible, and I will leave them up because it's like great just to be able to see the
evolution of the form.
Yeah, but like TikTok makes the editing so easy. Like, I used to always like edit an iMovie and whatever, and now it's just like you can do such cool things on there. And I mean, it's changing now, but like even from like a year ago, a year and a half, when did I start on TikTok? I don't know. Probably like a year and change ago. It was a lot easier to go viral on TikTok. Like I had a lot more success in the beginning with videos that I posted, just getting out there. And that was the first time ever that I experienced like that quick of a whoop, like of all the years that I had been doing this shit. So like it was cool. Now it's becoming more saturated like anything. It's like, it's harder to kind of like break through.
Yes.
But I've also been slacking big time. I need to get back into like posting more there.
Yeah, me too.
But it's very impressive. Like I always like the well of like all the ideas you come up with, and like all the CBS receipt ones. Where you have TikToks where you do all these different dances with CBS receipts, and it's just like it's incredible. It's like, wow, geez, like how many of those did you come up with?
There's at least a dozen. I forget how many. Yeah, at least a dozen. That's like our quarantine boredom right there. Or like, I don't know, coming up with ways to.
Just I keep seeing Dancing Together Alone. What's that?
That's the 13-day free challenge that I'm hosting.
Oh, cool.
So Dance Alone Together is. I should probably either change the name of my book or change the name of the series, because Dance with This Book is the book.
Right.
And then the digital companion basically is Dance Alone Together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a 13-day series. So like every day has a theme inspired by each chapter. And there's like a dance break that I recommend. So I give you a prompt, and there's even some writing prompts as well. So it's like, it's more about just dance. It's more about just opening up your creative stuff. So yeah. And I happen to be leading it live right now. So every day I'm going live, not on Instagram every day, but on Zoom if you're part of the challenge, and then like at least twice a week on Instagram. So you guys should come dance.
I'll do it.
Ooh,
I'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
Threw my shoulder out today, but as soon as that feels better. How do you do it? How do you join?
You can sign up. There's a link in my bio on Instagram at Jess Grippo, also, in case anybody listening wants to join too. And you can sign up. It's a whole thing. There's like an online community and stuff and all that you'll like have to sign up for, which is a little bit annoying for some people, but I think it's worth it. But we should bring you guys on. Maybe you could be like a featured guest for them. That would help promote the show. We can talk about that.
I love that.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Okay. The question is, do you remember the choreography from the episode?
Oh, definitely not.
Only the parts that we put in the episode. So
maybe. Well, we have the whole dance at the end. I mean,
we do. I guess we just rewatch that 100 times to get it down.
I wonder if Zoom's latency is low enough that we can like rehearse via Zoom.
Maybe.
That would be cool.
Have you ever tried a group dance via Zoom?
Yeah, actually. In the beginning of all this madness last March. Wow, that was a year ago. We're already back in March. Whoa.
Yeah, it's insane.
I was like, we were only 2 sessions into an in-person. I would host these like group dance programs where we would create a dance together throughout the course of 12 weeks. And we were only 2 weeks in and we switched to Zoom. So we started, 2 of my students who were choreographing for that round, like they kept it going and would teach choreography over Zoom. And, you know, we have the recordings of like everyone doing it together on Zoom on like the Brady Bunch style thing, which is, it was cool, you know, it was
Yeah.
definitely different and challenging, but you know, you can do some stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Have you guys did you guys notice any change in your dancing ability after the episode?
A little bit. I'd like went out with my nieces. My nieces would come down and we did a couple of TikTok dances a few times, like right after that, and they were very impressed by my ability to. No, they weren't impressed at all. They thought it was terrible. They thought I was awful.
No, I mean, I felt definitely like movements that I wouldn't consider, like just living your everyday life. I don't move my hips a lot, or I don't do any of that. So it's sort of like maybe more aware of like, oh, my body could do that. So I guess it gave me a greater awareness that way.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the weekend after my girlfriend and I went upstate for her birthday and we were dancing, and I would never have done this prior to the lesson, but I like just grabbed her and we were like kind of waltzing, and I was moving and it was like good and I wasn't self-conscious, and it was such a good feeling. So I attribute that to our lesson for sure.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy. I love it.
Yeah. And I did it again not that long ago, and it still held up. I still felt this, it had residual effects. It lasted.
Nice.
Yeah. So definitely you're a good teacher for sure.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Thank you. You guys are great students.
Oh,
you guys.
I guess okay, so we didn't really talk about, so you said, do we talk about the gap between your mid-20s and now? I don't know. Is there anything we should
I mean,
talk
I kind of brushed over it, but that was the part where I became a holistic health coach and did that until like probably like, I don't know, how old is I? 26, 27 was when I started to dance again and make the switch into more of the creative coaching.
Yeah. Was that, how did you like just make that decision? Like, what was that like? Was there a lot of inner turmoil and meditation?
Oh my God, so much. Not as much meditation. I don't know if I was meditating at the time, but like a lot of inner turmoil. I'm like the worst decision maker. And I remember I felt really conflicted. Well, there was like, I had this like professional presence online as a health coach working for someone else's business. So when I was making dance videos and I was like, I wanted to share them and to like kind of almost like come out as a dancer again. But it was like, oh wait, I can't do that. That's not professional. What are my clients going to think? What is like my boss going to think? Like, can I do this? Like it was very like, you know, like teetering that edge. And that's partly why I started going by Jess online instead of Jessica, because my name is Jessica Grippo as the holistic health coach. Gotcha. And so not that it really made that much of a difference. And most people call me Jess anyway. So yeah, it was tough. And I'm curious how you guys feel about that. Like if you have, you know, quote, normal jobs, and like how you navigate that between like your professional demeanor and then your art person.
It's weird for me. I mean, my job is pretty informal, and I work with a lot of creative types because I'm like producing people's podcasts. So that's how I know Vinny and a bunch of these people. But I'm definitely like a different person when I'm producing, or especially when I'm meeting a new person, like a new client, than I am in my Instagram. Like if someone went on my Instagram, sometimes I post some stuff that's like really weird and like makes people think like, is this guy insane? Is this guy like certifiable? So there's that. That does scare me a little bit. but it's just like, I mean, I feel like I have to do it. And if I'm gonna get fired from my job for doing something like that, then I guess that's what it's meant to be. But my boss is pretty cool, so she likes heavy metal, and I don't know, she's pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I put on a persona when I'm like in any sort of real setting. Like before I got into comedy, I did like an office job, and I was just like wearing a suit and tie into work every day. And I was just like every day I was like, I'm just ready to peel this off. Like just take like Superman coming out of the closet, right? Just like I don't know why I made Superman gay right there, but just, yeah, but like if he's not, I'm not as weird as Andrew, but I can get pretty weird with doing the stuff we do. But I don't know. I feel like there has to be a healthy balance between the two. It's like you can't be like do half of all the weird stuff we do in like a corporate setting, anyways. I think.
Yeah.
Oscar's a scaredy cat.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I teach children, so I teach music. So sometimes I sort of concerned about certain things, especially if it's like really far out there. But otherwise, like I mean, it hasn't been brought up yet, and I think it's I'm not too worried about it.
I just can't wait till this becomes successful enough that Oscar doesn't have to teach at all, and he just becomes an animal.
We've always joked Oscar's Bruce Banner, and all we want to see is the Hulk. That's who we want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, Jess, it's been lovely as always. I don't know. Is there anything else we missed that we should cover?
I feel like we took through the whole. I guess like I want to have like a random question. What's a skill you want to learn not related to dance?
That's a great question.
I know. I thought of it.
Sean's so happy with himself.
I'm so proud of myself for that. Yeah, question by me.
What is a skill I want to learn? That's a good question. I haven't thought about that in a while. I feel like all I do is dance and coach and teach dance these days. But I would like to do more crafty things. I have this like inner arts and crafts geek that has been like suppressed for a long time. I used to love arts and crafts when I was a kid. So I don't know. I would even have to like look up like what kind of things I could learn how to do in that sense.
I think woodworking was a revelation. When we got to build the table, I was like, oh, I could just do this. Like I could just live in the middle of nowhere and make tables. And I mean, I don't know if I'd be happy forever, but like for a good 6 months, I'd be like, this is what being satisfied feels like.
Well, maybe I'll be inspired. I'm excited to see all of the episodes. So who knows, Sean, maybe something,
will inspire you. I mean, that is like, we make a lot of jokes in the show, but we really do want to get people to try new things and inspire them, maybe and actually learn something, the knowledge part.
Oh yeah.
And then we also want people to find a dominatrix, and that's the daddy's part.
Well,
what? What?
Is there an episode where you?
Oh God!
I think next season we might do shibari.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? It's like Japanese erotic rope tying.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're gonna have Sean suspended.
Yeah. Maybe. I didn't even look up what it was. I was just like, huh.
We're gonna have it on your teacher profile. You up in a harness, in a corset, Oscar.
Oh man. Oh man.
Well, on that note, you probably want to leave. Thank you so much for coming on, Jess. And I'm excited to debut the episode and maybe dance with you on Dancing Alone Together.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back try to do a second episode too. Do like an advanced.
Oh yeah.
Dance.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Straight up ballet, just hardcore. That'd be cool.
Love it.
All right. Bye, Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay safe, 6. Be good.
it stops. It literally no time goes at all. Like the bickering starts again. Like it takes like no time at all.
It is like our parent is here and you and I stop fighting for 5 minutes and then
Yeah. At some point, we're gonna get so successful, but we're gonna get so angry at each other, Sean, that we're gonna have to form Knowledge Daddy sub teams. And like every season, we'll have one episode where all three of us are together, but then the rest of the episodes we're forming subgroups. You know.
Well, here's a question to end the podcast. Now, what do you guys deem as success?
What do I think is success?
I'm gonna big on 2 parts: success in general and success for Knowledge Daddies.
In general, I'd say complete creative freedom without having to worry about my finances at all. That's like my family's taken care of. I'm happy with where I live and the food I'm eating and how much free time I have. I want fuck you money. I want money to be like, I don't have to do that. I don't want to do that, so I don't have to do that. And that's it.
Yeah. I would say, well, definitely that. That's like, I guess that's like a high bar, but that would definitely be nice. For me, I guess, being fulfilled, you know.
Can't even say the word fulfilled.
Fulfilled. Yeah. Being, being satisfied with and having, for me, it's like having some sort of creativity and creative life in one form of it or another, and to keep me occupied and to learn things and create things, which is why I like this project. It's sort of very satisfying. It's constantly learning new things. So for me, that's what success feels like for me.
That's a good answer. What about you, Shawnee boy?
I guess it'd probably be a combination of both. I think it is self-fulfillment and then creative fulfillment, which I actually do think are 2 different things. It's like self-fulfillment is like, having all your, like you talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or having all your base needs met. So I think a lot of financial independence comes in with success, because more money, more problems, but more money also way less problems, and then creative fulfillment is, you said, like, basically, I mean, when we're talking about the show, like, what could we do if we could do anything? It would be learning new stuff, doing fun things, going on trips, hanging out with friends. So yeah, like that's kind of, it's a combination of everything we've said so far.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to like invest a lot of money into making the show better, without being like, oh my God, am I going to make rent?
Yeah.
Instead
of me just banking on Bitcoin to get to $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think that was a great episode.
Yeah. Let's plug Jess one more time so you can check her out on. Oh, you keep going.
At Jess Grippo, TikTok, Instagram, follow her, baby.
She smartly has all of her social medias the same thing, which is at Jess Grippo.
Yeah. And also, I want to plug Knowledge Daddies one more time, please. Do subscribe on YouTube, comment, and
on YouTube. How can we make this podcast better? Let us know. Do you want us to talk about guests we should reach out to? Make it anything you want to be. Because Andrew talked about, we want to be like your Tiger Belly, your Joe Rogan podcast, where people will watch us on YouTube and just feel informed and have good conversation.
And we want this to be a community where you feel like you're getting some support and love and encouragement, like we said with Jess, about trying new things, trying new skills, or refining skills that you've been working on. And so if you have a new skill you're learning, or something that you have been developing for a while, send in a video, send in a question, send in a comment, and we'll mention you on the podcast.
That was what I wanted to get to for Success for Knowledge Daddies. Just a small thing. I want to be able to get to a place in which we had a community of people, and like we could have them be like them suggesting what we do on the next season. Like they would pick, I want to see you guys try fencing, or I want to see you guys try, so and so.
Yeah, we should do that. We should put out a thing for like suggestions for one of the episodes.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But yeah, also share the podcast and share the show, please. That's the way we grow, and that would mean the most to us if you really help us grow and make this a thing that we can continue doing indefinitely
We're marching ahead, baby.
until Sean and I hate each other. That's what we
Yeah.
want to do.
So we finally have the one big fight that
March 11.
Although I feel like you and I will never
Dance
get to
comes
that
out.
point, Andrew, because we fight so much, like in little bickering moments, it gets us out of our system. I feel like if we just pent it all up, that it would erupt.
Yeah, but we gotta not be passive aggressive towards each other.
We're never passive. We're usually pretty upfront and aggressive.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know, man. Sometimes my feelings get hurt when you say both of you say I'm not funny because I'm sensitive about that. It actually really hurts my feelings.
You're funny.
Andrew, you're always funny. You always make me laugh.
Thank you.
My feelings get hurt all the time with you say. It's just what we do.
What do I say that hurts your feelings?
I'm not gonna let you give you ammo.
All right.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
I'm dead inside.